this airplane painted the way that it is?
It's quite a paint job, isn't it? All done by an artist down in the Atlanta area for the purpose of commemorating this transcontinental speed record that a couple of young people did. One of them is a student from the Able Flight program where they help persons with disabilities. This is a young gal named Jessica who was at one time in her life had every joint in her body frozen up, and through a series of surgeries and very hard work and therapy has not only been able to recover her normal lifestyle, but has learned to be a pilot, has achieved her sport pilot certificate, and she and her instructor flew this very airplane from the East Coast to the West Coast in 17 hours, which is quite a dash. They don't have a NAA speed record, but they will apply to Guinness Book of Records, but it is the fastest known transcontinental flight in a light sport aircraft here in the FA-04 Peregrine, sold by Hanson Air Group.
How long has this airplane been on the market?
Well, it's been on the market, Dave, in Europe for several years, but it's brand new to the USA. They just won their SLSA approval just before Sun and Fun 2009. So this is a fresh airplane on the market, but it comes from the country formerly known as Eastern Germany. Just a little bit east of Berlin is where this comes from, and a company is called Fleming Air.
Now, it looks like this is a very sleek airplane. I guess the construction is all composite?
This is an all composite airplane, and yes, Dave, so many of them from that part of the world are composite because of the sailplane technologies. Sailplanes in Europe have been around for many years following things to do in World War II, where the Allied forces did not allow these companies to build powered aircraft, so they changed to sailplanes as a way to continue their flying, and all the technologies they learned about building out of these composite materials, and they can now apply to powered aircraft, and this is one of them.
And what kind of power are we using on this?
This is, again, our very common Rotax 912S power plant, swinging a 3-blade prop, and they're able to achieve a lot since they've worked with the American fellows have worked a lot with the prop on this, and they now just told us here as we began to shoot this video that they are now clocking this at max speed of 119.2 knots. So that's about as close as you can get to a 120 knot maximum speed limit for light sport aircraft in the USA.
What kind of control system is used on this airplane?
Well, this one, if we look inside here in a moment, we'll see that it has dual control sticks and dual controls for both pilots. So when Jessica and her instructor flew out to the West Coast, they were each able to do some of the time. And a little bit of an interesting story, somebody asked them when they got out there, they said, what was the toughest part of the trip for you to get this airplane all the way from East Coast to West? And they both said in unison, Texas.
This is another one with almost a sports car-like feel to it.
Yeah, it's a really nice side-by-side, pretty wide cockpit, again, already accommodating the larger pilots that seem to be in the United States. So it's a roomy airplane, pretty comfortable airplane for those two. They're both small, the ones that flew across the country, so they actually had a little room in here. But even if you're a pretty big fella or a pretty big gal, you could probably fit in this airplane real nice. Again, dual joysticks, all the controls located in the center. They've got a nice selection of both round gauge instrumentation and electronic instrumentation installed in this particular airplane.
And it looks like storage space is right behind the seat there. That's quite adequate as well.
Well, yeah, and you'd be a little hard pressed to see it, but there's kind of a center section in here, but then on each side there's lots of room for a pretty good sized bag can fit back in here. So you can fly not only cross country, but take your bags along with you. You don't have to ship them by UPS or something.
Looks like you've got just about everything you need on this instrument panel.
Well, it's that nice selection again of both a combination of what we call steam gauges sometimes, analog instruments more specifically, and the combination of the electronic instrumentation. And this one is the Bright Flight. This is an Italian production, and this is a touch screen, which makes it kind of a neat difference than many of them, which have a whole series of buttons somewhere. This one you actually, if it's not on right now, but you just touch the screen, which is kind of a cool thing that I like in this airplane that's common in the computer industry, but not so common in airplanes.
And everything is very well identified. Everything labeled so that there's no confusion.
Yep, it's there's a lot going on here, obviously, but and this airplane is well equipped and has all the right kind of thinking behind it because it comes from some people that really know their stuff. The Hanson Air Group sells this very nice-looking low-wing composite airplane. They also sell the Sky Arrow, a high-wing composite from Italy, and in addition, now they will be representing the FK9, an all-metal airplane with some fabric on it from Germany. So they've got quite a distribution of airplanes and something to appeal to almost everyone. And you can find their information at HansonAirGroup.com, and Hanson in this case is spelled Hansen, airgroup.com.
And do you have a flight report on this one, Dan?
I have not had the pleasure to fly this one yet, although I do have a flight report on both the Sky Arrow and the FK9 that Hanson Air Group also sells, and you can find that on my website, which is bydanjohnson.com or bydanjohnson.com.